Hello, lovely people. New adventure unlocked. I'm headed to the next game. My mama's here. We're going to Aqua Zumba. I am getting out of my comfort zone. I am trying fencing today. I'm just there for the vibes. I know nothing about baseball. I'm there for the vibes. Hello, lovely people. Hope you all are doing well. Listen, Linda, listen. So this email that I'm about to read, I actually know this person. This person is actually a client of mine, and she's in my postpartum support group. And child, she done found my YouTube channel. I don't know how she's found my YouTube channel, but she found it. And see, you all know me through YouTube. See, like when I'm at work. I'm Dr. Pamela. I'm at work. And so she is so like gagged, okay, that I have a YouTube channel. So I'm not going to read the first part of the email. She actually sent me an email to my personal email because I put pagingdrpam@gmail.com on my YouTube channel. So she actually sent me an email. But she's so like tickled and gagged that I have a YouTube channel that I'm not going to read the first part. But anyways, this is what she wrote. OMG, exclamation point. Dr. Pamela, it's you. You have a YouTube channel? How come we never knew this? We as in the moms. Oh my God, I cannot wait to tell them. Girl, don't do that. Don't do that. So I saw that you're doing a Paging Dr. Pam series. So I want to ask you a question. As you know, I've been struggling with postpartum depression, and being in your group has really taught me how to take care of myself and be a better mom. Oh. So I have hold on, sorry, I lost, okay. I have an embarrassing question for you, and I didn't want to ask in groups. I have an embarrassing question for you, and I didn't want to ask in groups, so finding you on here is everything. Anyway, do dads experience postpartum depression? I think my boyfriend might be experiencing postpartum depression, but my understanding is that postpartum depression is only for mothers. He seems very moody. He seems very stressed. He doesn't really talk to anybody anymore. He seems very frustrated, and he is just withdrawing from his family and friends. I've tried to talk to him. He says nothing's wrong, but since we had that out, because I don't want to give her information. Okay, since we had the baby, his mood has really changed. I don't know if dads experience postpartum depression. I don't want to diagnose him, but I do feel like something is wrong with him. What do you think? All right. So, first of all, thank you for sending me an email, and you don't need to tell the mamas that I got a YouTube page, okay? So yes. I'm going to spend some time with this topic because it is very, very important, because I do feel that dads are often the neglected population when it comes to a new baby. Yes, dads experience postpartum depression too, but it can look differently than it does in mothers, right? Honestly, the data shows that nearly 1 in 4 dads, let me back up. The data shows that nearly 1 in 10 dads experience postpartum depression, but with the risk of 1 in 4 if the mother's struggling. So if the mother is struggling, the chances are high that the dad is going to struggle, right? The problem sometimes with dads experiencing postpartum depression is that there's no one to talk to. Think about like when you have a baby, people are asking the mother how she feels. People are asking how's the baby, right? But no one really says to the dad like, hey, how are you? How you doing? How you feeling? How's fatherhood going? So yes, there's a lot of changes that dads definitely go through. Now, what you did describe are signs of postpartum depression. You mentioned moodiness, right? Whether you believe it or not, men also go through hormonal changes when the baby's gone, when the baby's born, right? Testosterone, cortisol levels, high stress. It also can cause a relationship strain because of the lack of support, the physical affection. Because think about, like, I think about my own postpartum journey. I was so focused on the baby, I wasn't really thinking about my husband. I was focused on the baby. And that's a natural thing that happens. I never wanted mom to feel bad. But again, it's a natural thing that happens where it's like the dad is kind of like left to like their own devices, right? Also, if your boyfriend has a history of anxiety or depression, that is a risk factor. So that does increase the chance of postpartum depression. I like to say this. Think about it this way. It's like, as moms, as soon as we get pregnant, it's almost like, not all the time, but most of the time, it's like a switch that happens, right? Like, we're immediately preparing for motherhood because we have 9 months of pregnancy. If we're lucky enough, we're bonding with the baby in different ways. We're in our nesting phase. There's so many things that we don't have no choice but to prepare for this baby that's coming, right? And a lot of times with men, they don't really get that opportunity, right? So when the baby comes, it can be a bit of a shock to them, right? So in dads, postpartum depression looks like, moodiness, um, um, irritability, just kind of snapping, just trouble concentrating. Maybe the things they used to do they don't do. Maybe they used to they used to like go golfing, play basketball with their friends, right? They don't do that anymore. I see this a lot, and I have to keep it real. Sometimes the dads, I might see an increase in substance use, alcohol to self-medicate, marijuana, other drugs, medication. Um, and also there's a feeling of disconnecting from the baby, disconnecting from the partner. I see a lot of times where moms will complain. Well, I don't want to say complain, actually. Complain is a bad word. Moms will report that the dad just seems more isolated, more withdrawn, doesn't really want to bond with her, want to bond with the baby. And honestly, that postpartum can happen anywhere from birth to like even after a year. But sometimes you see it around the 3 to 6 month mark, right? And so if you suspect that so yes, to answer your question, yes, dads do experience postpartum depression. It is not just for women. It just may show up in a different way. So the difficult thing for you is, I'm sure you've asked him, like, are you okay? And he said yes. The number one thing that's important for your boyfriend to do is to seek support. Are there, if he doesn't want to go to therapy, because I don't want to assume that he wants to go to therapy, because that will always be my number one, to find a therapist. Because I do see dads that whose wife or partners have had babies and they're feeling like neglected. But let's say he doesn't want to go to therapy. Okay, you go to therapy. Well, I know you are in therapy, but you go to therapy to learn how to deal with these changes that you're seeing him go through. But also, does he have friends or a support system that have newborns or young kids, right? Because a lot of times the men don't really have conversations about, fatherhood and adjusting to fatherhood, and see if you can find him some resources, right? So a really good resource for dads experiencing postpartum depression is the PSI, Postpartum Support International. Is it PSI? Postpartum Support International. That is like the big umbrella of all these postpartum support. And they have group therapy for dads, resources for dads. Think about, how does your boyfriend consume his information? Does he consume it through YouTube, through articles, through TikTok, through Instagram? If it's through Instagram, send him an Instagram videos about a dad going through postpartum depression. There's a really good group called the Daddy Stroller Club. And I know that they have events for dads and they meet with your babies. He probably needs to be around men that have young kids, right? I don't know how close you are to his family, but maybe reaching out to his family and say, hey, we may be struggling a bit. Maybe we need you to come around a little bit more. Um, but, mainly finding some support services for him. Encourage him to do the things that he used to do. And I know it's hard, especially when you are you're fresh in postpartum and you may need his support more. But just like a mom, if you don't thrive, your children will not thrive. If he's not doing well, then you're not going to do well. The baby's not going to do well. The whole household is impacted. So please make sure that you are like, if he likes to exercise, if he used to go out with his buddies once every other week or whatever, I don't know. Encourage him. Hey, you have not seen David in a while. When's the last time you talked to David? Oh, I don't know. He busy. I'm busy. But you made time for him before. So I would call David. Hey, David, can you come pick up my dude and y'all go do something? Granted that David is a healthy friend. Okay? Because sometimes, but, try to get his tribe to support him. There's also the Postpartum Support Center. That is a organization specifically for dads and fathers, right? There's also the NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Health, on Mental Illness. NAMI also has great resources for dads going through postpartum depression. But try not to, again, because I do work with dads, try not to be in his ear and be like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because you're going to get, I'm good, I'm fine, but try to have honest conversations like, hey, like, how's this fatherhood thing been for you? What has been your biggest difficulty adjusting? Now, if he's not going to receive it from you, then maybe you're not the person to ask that question, right? Maybe it could be his mother, or maybe it could be his brother, or, it may need to be, hey, I need you to rally around us because we're really, really struggling right now. But I would say, good job for even in your own postpartum stuff, recognizing that your partner needs help too and wanting to help him in the process. Because it's hard when you're a mom and you're struggling. You're right. You're in your little like tunnel. It's very hard to even have the capacity to say, let me try to help my partner who's also struggling. So, kudos to you. But my biggest thing is, trying to see if he is open to getting some sort of therapy services. Again, because I know how sometimes some men can operate, they may not always be quick to want to admit that something's wrong, right? So try not to get into a debate about like, something is wrong with you. I see you're doing this, you're neglecting yourself, because that's going to make him more defensive, right? But try to see like, hey, I'm struggling too, and I know, sometimes you have to change the approach. Like, hey, why don't you see somebody to help to support me? If he feels like he's doing it to help you, that might make him walk through the door a little bit better, because men like to be rescuers, right? If he feels like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm just doing this to help her out, it doesn't matter as long as he walks through the door. So good luck. Thank you for writing, and I will see you in group, girl. Bye.